Morning. I'm glad everyone's here this morning. I know it's early, but remember it is early start today for us and so forth, late start for the students. So let's get started with first things on the agenda, our norms. Could someone state our norms for us today? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get started with that. So first things, reading comprehension skills. Again, our reading comprehension skills this year are low, and that's one thing that we need to work on. And I know we have been throughout this first semester of school, but we're still seeing with our latest assessment, we see that those scores for some students have not gone up any, and so forth, or very few points they've gone up. So we need to work on that. So we need to discuss what the plan is for raising those reading comprehension skills. I know that one of the areas that we're going to, across the curriculum, involve everyone is we are going to start the program of Newsela and have those articles every week in the discipline, in every discipline, or almost every discipline. The teachers are going to be picking those articles, having those students read, do those comprehension questions, and even some teachers are going as far as doing writing prompts in regards to those articles and so forth. Next, we need to keep brainstorming for other ways. I know English department, science, they are also doing the practice reading test out of the ACT Aspire manuals that we started using last year through Mastery Prep. So let's continue using those on a regular basis. How many are you guys using each week? Is that your bell word? Are you using it as part of your curriculum in the middle part? What are you doing that you seem to be making waves with that? Will someone talk about that? Oh, good, yes. Great idea, great idea. Okay, so maybe if we meet, I know this is all English in here today, maybe if we meet with science and discuss what they're doing and what's working for them and so forth. And also if we could get the history department involved. You know, some of those pieces that we're using or we're seeing in the reading comprehension area or reading area of the ACT Aspire have historical context to them and so forth. So if we could also include giving some of those reading passages to those history teachers and letting them use those as well. Social science is on there and different things. I think we have the pros covered in here, but I know that we need to open that up to other areas and so forth. Getting those kids used to seeing those types of questions. And I know that we pulled in during TLC time, we pulled in kids who are having trouble with reading comprehension. We have a list of those students. I know that in all areas of 9th and 10th grade teachers that they're all bringing those kids in during TLCs for short workshops and so forth, going back over reading comprehension, main idea, central idea, and so forth, and helping those kids understand how do I pick that out and training them for that area as well. So if you see any other things that we need to be doing in regards to that, let's make sure that we talk about that in our next meeting. Again, on the Newsela, those articles are going to be required 3 times a week in all the core areas and other disciplines. I know art's picking it up as well too. So now let's go on with TLC. TLC time, we all have that same group on Monday mornings, but the admin is saying that not all agenda books are being properly, looked at. Their attendance hasn't been listed, their grades haven't been current as far as the kids, students writing those in there, and also their plan. They're supposed to have A, B, and C plan for each day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we need to follow Mrs. Feltman's model. So on Mondays, when your kids come in, you need to have that on your board and going through that, her slideshow. Our department does well on following through with procedures and so forth, and everything, but we need to also be checking those students throughout the day when we're stamping. You know, it's a good idea to ask them to get their agenda books out, everybody, even if it's somebody that you're not even stamping, and just checking on Tuesday morning, especially Tuesday throughout the day. Are those students following procedure on Monday? Are their agenda books? Do they have the attendance, tardies, grades, and then of course their plan of 3 places that they're going to go to on the rest of the week. So I know it's not our plan to have to look after that, but I think we need to do our share on that and make sure that gets done. Does anybody have any ideas for that? Okay, good. So let's go back one more time to the reading comprehension. I forgot to tell you that a program that they're getting ready to start is reading across the curriculum. And one part of that is not only the Newsela articles, but also different teachers from different disciplines are going to be, you know, instead of English department always being the one to take the students to the library, different disciplines are going to sign up, and it's going to be their turn, because then those kids get a different idea, different perspective, as far as like maybe it's art, and those art teachers take their kids this time to pick out books and so forth. Well, that opens up that whole world of a new perspective and finding new books that might relate to some students more so than what we always pick out for them. And also the kids are seeing that we have readers across the curriculum. Everybody's reading, and that's a good idea. Also in TLC time, they want to incorporate at least 10 minutes of reading either at the beginning or the end of that TLC time every day. So you need to figure out when you're going to incorporate that in TLC time. Okay, next, along the lines of TLC, we're seeing that some of our students, especially in 9th grade, their writing skills are still not where they need to be. So we are going to incorporate a writing workshop. And that writing workshop is going to include, 2, maybe 3 days, for probably just 2, of working on certain skills. So we're going to have to get together and figure out what each one of us wants to teach, if we want to co-teach during that time, which might be helpful. We don't want those groups, too large. We want them small so they can get a lot of one-on-one help during that time. But just the basic CEC paragraphs, those topic sentences, those claims, and then that evidence and supporting ideas, using those transitions and getting them ready for that expository work and so forth, that expository writing piece that they're going to have to write for the ACT Aspire. So be thinking about what is going to be your part. Are there going to be certain days that you are going to do the writing workshop? Do you want to incorporate 9th and 10th, or do you just want to keep your, whatever grade it is that you teach? Do you want to just keep them in your classroom and not incorporate 9th and 10th together? So we need to think about that this week, figure out a plan on paper of each, and maybe even email one another, or we can get back together. But we need to have it in place beginning next week. So we might need to meet up again another day this week. So let's plan on that sometime. So either be emailing each other. I'll put a group link in there, and we can discuss our plans that way. That might be the easiest way, because I know everyone is so busy right now. We're getting close to the end of the semester. That's fun. So we need to, I know all of you have your summatives, your semester tests, summatives, they're done and so forth. Of course, you did those during the summertime, and they have all been, you've been following that path as far as your CFAs and skills and so forth. So you need to revisit those semester tests, make sure that they are over the skills that you did teach this semester, and making sure that your CFAs are following along so those kids are prepped and ready for that final semester test. Now our 9th graders, this will be the first time that they're taking semester tests, so we know that we're gonna have to start now, and I'm sure some of you have all throughout the semester talking about it, because they've never studied for a semester exam. So if you haven't discussed that, you might start reviewing at this point and going over those skills and that you have taught early on, especially, and making sure that they're prepped and ready for that. I know that some of the students are going, I'm not gonna take the semester test, but we still need to get them all ready for that, because you don't know at this point who's going on to college, who's not, and so forth. So we wanna make sure that they're all kind of knowing how to study for those semester tests and getting ready for that. So the summatives, remember, are to be recorded in the grade book. Your CFAs, please remember that those are not going in your grade book. I know that probably not in our department, but in another department or other departments, teachers are putting those in as grades. So remember, summatives are going in, but not the CFAs. That is your tool for how you are guiding your instruction and so forth. Any questions? Any concerns, any statements, anything you want to say in regards to any of that? Okay. Going back to the TLC, and I'm sorry I had to go back to this, the TLC writing workshop. Do you feel like that's enough time during TLC, or do you feel like we need a before or after school program? You know, I think lunchtime is pretty short and those kids need a break anyway, but something else. I think that's something we need to look at. Is TLC going to be enough? That's when they're pushing, our admin is wanting to push that program, that writing workshop program and so forth. And is that gonna be enough time? And how are we gonna work on that? So I can't stress that enough that we need to focus on that. Lastly, big issue. We seem to have, like all schools, a problem with the attendance. And we need to start brainstorming. I know we talk about this in the summertime. I know we talk about this at several of our meetings, but we need to really focus on what we can do to get the kids here, to get those students who are repeat offenders of not coming. Is it more one-on-one time with them? Is it incorporating them into some kind of activity, whether it be a club, a sport, something that's going to make them want to be here even more? You know, I'm sure many of you have already called parents and so forth, and I know we've discussed who we're worried about and different things, but what else can we do? What else can we do to get those kids here? We have breakfast, we have lunch, so the food is here and so forth, but what else can we do to make those kids want to be here? So if it's a certain kid that you think you could spend more time with, you know, then bring them in and so forth. Sign them up for TLC time and, you know, just to be in your room and overlook what else they're doing as far as in their other areas, other core areas and other disciplines and so forth. So anyway, that's wrapping pretty much everything that we need to discuss today. So let's open it up to further discussion on any of these areas or anything else that maybe we didn't discuss. Yes, I agree. Calling home to parents is not working as well as it used to in the past. We are getting discouraged. I know that we do notify the parents and we do keep in touch with them, but I know a lot of parents aren't following through as far as attendance and kids getting their work done and their concerns, and I understand that. And that's something that we need to look at. What can we do? What can we do? So you're worried that you're already doing too much. We all are. We all are doing a lot, but we have to keep finding areas that we can continue to help these kids and make them successful. Oh, you like the idea about the reading, having other teachers from other disciplines pick up books instead of it always falling on the English department. I agree. I think that's a great idea. Anything else before we close up? Anybody else have any concerns? Remember, I'm going to put that link in the shared drive and put other information in there. I'll email the link. We'll have a shared drive where we can put our ideas as far as several of the things we've talked about today. And if you are doing something that's working well, especially in that reading comprehension area or anything else, writing, reading, whatever, please share it with the rest of the staff. It's very important that we share everything and do our best. So anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for coming. We'll talk about celebrations next time. I'm sorry we didn't get to that. Take care. Bye-bye.